welcome to A Game for Your Thoughts. Today we're talking about Tomb Raider Legend. Tomb Raider Legend is one of the many Tomb Raider reboots. Well, I guess there's only been like 2 or 3, but it's one of them. It came out in 2006 and it kind of revitalized the series after Angel of Darkness, which I'm not going to talk about. Tomb Raider Legend follows Lara Croft as she makes her way across the globe in search of the pieces of the sword Excalibur, King Arthur's legendary sword. But there's someone else looking for it, a character from her past. And now she kind of must race against this character to find the pieces of the sword and also figure out a dark secret from her past. Okay, so the story for Tomb Raider Legends is actually pretty rad. It's not the best thing ever, but it does the job, and it does it pretty well. I was thoroughly entertained with the story. Like I said, it's not the best and most exciting story ever, but it does a great job for what it does, and the game knows exactly what it was. It knows what it's doing. It knows that it's not the most serious and most bestest and most exciting game ever. It does a great job of knowing what it is, and it sticks to that. All I need this game to do is have Lara Croft be a badass and super sexy at the same time, have a really rad adventure, and some terrible one-liners, and that's exactly what I got. I was not disappointed by the story of this game. It did exactly what I thought it was going to, and it did not let me down at any point. Like I said, this game knows what it is. It knows it's trying to be a big blockbuster action movie, but it's not that. So there's lots of really awesome action sequences, and then there's lots of not very good dialogue. But in the end, the story does what I wanted it to, which is to have a good adventure, have Lara Croft be super awesome, and just kind of have fun. And that's exactly what happened. So gameplay-wise, Tomb Raider Legend is kind of your generic action-adventure game. There's exploration, puzzles, and combat. So if you've ever seen a video here where I talk about an action-adventure game, Tomb Raider or Uncharted, you know how this is going to go. Let's break it up. Exploration, puzzle, and combat. So let's talk about exploration first. So the exploration in Tomb Raider Legend is one of the best and probably worst parts of this game. The best part about it is it's really fun, it's exciting, and you're just climbing around exploring these really cool environments. And one thing I really enjoyed is your path straightforward isn't very straightforward. It's not a very linear adventure. There is a sense of openness to these worlds. It isn't always the most direct path forward, but it also isn't very closed off and linear. And so it's very awesome as it kind of just lets you explore the area kind of at your own pace. And like I said, this is one of the game's worst aspects in the sense of just figuring out where Lara's going to go. There's a lot of times I jumped and she just didn't go where I wanted her to, and I was like, what? And I had to very strategically point to where she was going, or when she was jumping from a ledge or jumping backwards across something, I had to make sure that she was really going to go the direction I wanted her to, because there was several instances where I'd be like this way, or I needed to jump to the right, and I kept holding right, but then she'd jump backwards, and I had to change directions to jump across. It was very bizarre, and it just wasn't always the most efficient exploration system. So next is the puzzles. I actually enjoyed the puzzles of Tomb Raider Legend. They're not anything too crazy, but they do a great job of giving you the pieces, and if you're missing something, then go and look for it, and you'll find it and figure it out. None of these puzzles are painstakingly hard where I sat there for hours trying to figure it out, but there were a few that were certainly tricky that I had to look around the room and really observe what was going on. And I liked it. It was fun, and it was definitely a good mix between the combat and exploration. It was very few puzzles, but the few puzzles that were there were really rad. So the combat in this game is one of two things. It's either you having a lot of fun and just going awesome, there's lots of really cool action going on, or it's you sitting there holding the button while the dudes take 1,000 shots to the chest. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And so the combat is definitely kind of a mixed bag as well. I mean, it's either super awesome and a lot of fun, or the enemies are super bullet spongy. And when it's a lot of fun, it's pretty rad. I mean, there's sequences when you're sliding down a hill and shooting guys, and it's super cool. Or there's sequences when you're doing something and shooting guys, or when you're doing Indiana Jones caravan stuff. It's pretty sweet. But when you're just running around and shooting guys over and over and over and over again, you're okay, I get it. Let's just go, I think probably the best way to describe this action adventure exploration is it's very mindless. You don't have to think very, very hard. And the combat is certainly the best thing for that. It's very straightforward. It's very just hold the button and shoot, and they're going to take a while to go down. And when it's not just that, it's actually very exciting and it's fun. It's I'm still kind of shutting my brain off and just having a good time, but this is still really cool. So when you're not sitting there mindlessly shooting guys and they're taking 1,000 shots to the chest, you're fighting one of the game's many very terrible boss fights. This game had some of the lamest boss fights ever. When you didn't know what's going on, you didn't know what's going on, and it was super terrible. And when you thought you knew what was going on, it probably actually wasn't what was actually going on. And when you actually knew what was going on, you still weren't sure if that was actually what was supposed to happen until something just randomly happened or randomly worked one time, and you're just oh, okay, I guess. It didn't give you a whole lot of information with the boss fights. It's here you go, figure it out. And then it didn't really tell you much else, and it's I'm gonna need a little bit more than that, pal. I wasn't a big fan of the boss fights in this game. They're pretty few and far in between, but when they are there, they're pretty terrible and definitely one of the least memorable parts of this game. Just because they're just so eh. The graphics of this game aren't too bad. They haven't aged the greatest. They are a tad blocky, but Lara Croft is gorgeous and that's all that matters. I mean, if she wasn't a video game character and if I wasn't married, we'd be getting together. Lara Croft is gorgeous in this game, and that's the one thing that I look forward to most in a Tomb Raider game. Like I said, the environments are really cool. They're nice and open, and they're just lots of fun to climb around and explore. I mean, they're not like the coolest, most gorgeousest graphics like Shadow of the Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider. But for the time and age that this game came out, I mean, that's 15 years ago, it still looks pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun to just walk around and explore. Well, some of the male character models are like hugely muscular, like it's ridiculous. It's like, wow, steroids much? Lara Croft makes them look like pansies anyways because she's a badass, and that's all that really matters. Technically, there are a handful of issues, most of it kind of being things interacting with the environment's a little weird, and then also Lara just not really doing what you think she's going to do. They're like, oh, I'm going to jump this way, and then she jumps like that way, things like that. And then there's terrible quick time events that come out of nowhere, but they do lead to some very funny deaths, so it's kind of worth it, maybe just purposely failing on purpose, accident. The quick time events do suck, though. They are pretty bad, but all in all, technically this game runs fine. It's certainly not the best, but it gets the job done. In the end, Tomb Raider Legend knows exactly what it is, and I appreciate that. It doesn't take itself too serious, but also still wants to have some fun. There's a lot of action here, there's a lot of terrible writing and dialogue, and it's just like, But all in all, I had a lot of fun with this game. It's super just mindless fun, and it doesn't take that long to beat. It's really not that long of a game, and it's enjoyable for what it is, and I had a fun time playing through Tomb Raider Legend. The graphics haven't aged the best, but Lara Croft is great. She's gorgeous, and she's a badass, and that's all I expect from a Tomb Raider game, and fun gameplay. And while the gameplay was very shoddy at certain parts, I all in all had a good time. So in the end, I would recommend this game to people who enjoy Tomb Raider games. If you played the newer Tomb Raider games, I would certainly say that the Legend series is like the next best after the reboot series. So if you're interested in Tomb Raider, if you like that new series, maybe check out the Legend series. You might be into it. Like I said, just don't take it too serious. The game itself doesn't take itself serious, so you shouldn't either. So yeah, I recommend this game if you're a fan of action-adventure games, if you like Tomb Raider, or if you just want a fun game that isn't too serious, but just a lot of fun. Hey, thank you so much for watching my review for Tomb Raider Legend. I actually played this game here on YouTube, so I'll leave a link to the series here at the end. So click on that and go watch me play the game. It was a lot of fun, just super relaxed, and just a lot of crazy shenanigans. So go over and check that out. That'd be awesome. And if you want to watch more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see you around. And if you want to go check me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/GameForYourThoughts, that'd be great. I'd love to see you there. Come say hi. And down in the comments, let me know, what's your favorite Tomb Raider game? I personally say Rise of the Tomb Raider is my favorite. Rise of the Tomb Raider is just like, it's out there. It's awesome. So go and check that one out too. I have a review for that. So go do that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you liked it, and we'll catch you guys next time on A Game for Your Thoughts.